How to make a financial plan for family. So this is one of the most vital conversations that I think needs to start happening. Everyone says, well, no one teaches us about money. The school should do it. No, it shouldn't. So today I'm going to talk about why you, the family, create the conversation, you create the legacy, you create the plan, hence why integrated wealth systems exist, because we're going to be right next to you, making sure this plan is really fully robust in all the areas you need. But today, let's talk about the financial family plans and the deficit that is going on and the damage that is being caused, because there's so much invisible pain by a family not having an integrated plan. Number two, the key components of that wealth plan, what should be in it. And number three, how do you get your whole household aligned? And I'm talking not just your household. I'm talking about your parents, if you're going to be inheriting money, your kids or your grandkids, if you're going to be giving it. How do you create that legacy and alignment for a full family wealth plan? So a family financial plan, just like any plan, is going to involve all the money, all the income that's coming in from the family, all the expenses in the family, any corporate structure that should actually have some of those expenses going through as business deductions. It includes all your assets, all your liabilities. It includes ancillary forms of income that should be inside the income or the asset column. Like it's everything that you own and everything that you control. Just like I teach in the Millionaire Maker, you should have a baseline of where you are now and some Freedom Day goals. So where are you going? What does this family want to do? Do you want to just become millionaires in 3 to 5 years? Do you want to become worth 5 million, 10 million? What do you want? So we want to actually put some short-term goals, some long-term goals, and you got to start having these conversations with the kids, especially as they start getting into their own families. They get married, start having their own households. How does this going to work when you start doing legacy work and gifting work? So why most finances are managed reactively in families is, again, no one's talking about it. If you think about it, we can go back to the same conversation you've heard me say, Bob Proctor, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, specifically Sharon Lechter, is who taught you about money? Most of you would say my family. You kind of inherited behaviors is the way I talk about it. Or you go off to school and you start sharing, oh, did you get a credit card before you went to college? How are you doing this? I mean, both of my kids say, their friends in college didn't even know the difference between a debit card and a credit card. They're so financially illiterate across the board. So it's just a deficit because it's not being taught. I believe truly, unless families take it on, it's not going to change at all. Schools should not take it on, even though there are initiatives. I know in Arizona, there's an initiative that you have to do at least, I think it's 3 or 6 credit hours in approved financial literacy that got pushed through by Sharon Lechter. So I trust that that has some capacity. But Dave Ramsey has done a huge, run through a lot of the churches. And the problem is that's not financial literacy. That's save yourself to death and go get a job. And don't start a company because it's too risky. I mean, Dave is about staying safe, stable, and out of debt. That is not what we're doing. We're creating millionaires. So what's interesting about some of those other gurus that teach the stay safe, stable, and debt-free, which that's not like a bad thing, but that plan isn't going to get you here. You got to live corporate life. You have to have companies. You got to have more income so you can activate the greatest tax code. The way you invest isn't just by parking your money in the stock market and praying to God that someone's going to do something for you. It's active involvement. It's application of these principles that you own into your family's life. So it's a very different way to live. Ask my kids. I mean, they look at like some of their people that they hang out with, and it's like they've had no experience with money. They still have a debit card, or they actually don't have any cards. They might operate on a very low restricted, credit card from their parents. So I could talk about this topic forever and scream through the rooftops. When we launched the book, Make Your Kids Millionaires, which if you want to grab that book, it's in the show notes below. And by the way, I'm just going to give you this book, The Millionaire Maker, so you can start putting your financial plan together. When you read up to chapter 3, there's a gap analysis that defines where you are and where you're going. Once you do that, you want to send it into our office, just follow the links, and have a one-on-one conversation about what gaps you have and what we could do to help fill them for you so you have a robust plan. But the deficit is because most people, honestly, they say they care. They don't, because they don't lean in and they're not learning enough about P&Ls, balance sheets. They're not driving their own P&Ls and balance sheets, and they just hope it's all going to work out. The other reason why most families are behind is, way back in the day, I'll frame it this way. Bob Proctor said, if you actually decide for a career to teach money, sex, or God, you'll have a career of a lifetime, because those are never talked about. And money has nothing to do with love. And so the fact that it tangles relationships, and it's one of the primary reasons why relationships break up, is because there is no financial literacy. And couples come together from love, and then they get into money and they start fighting because there is no engagement, there's no rules. So when we wrote the Make Your Kids Millionaires book, we actually went through 87 steps of what you could have, should have, would have done from 0 to 20. If you just went through those before you got married or as you gauge in a relationship, is are you going to keep your finances together? Are you going to keep them separate? Those are big decisions. And even if you keep them separate, how one behaves with their money versus the other behaves with their money, it matters. One may put a lot of money, and I've seen this happen a lot, where the man in the household will put a lot of money into the yard, into landscaping, into remodeling, and the female in the house or the other partner in the house, they just go shopping for stuff they don't really need. And so unless there's some alignment about how money, even if it's independent money, is going to be spent, the values proposition around that gets really, really messy. So what isn't a good plan? So a plan starts with the reality, like the real numbers. How much does everyone make in the family? How many people are actually working and contributing in the family? Is there a corporate structure? Is it a job, or are you actually making money into a company? In America, we call them LLCs, limited partnerships, S Corps, C Corps. Who's designing that? I believe that to become a great tax strategist at the level that our folks are, I mean, it's almost as many years of school and training and, field work that it is to be a surgeon. You don't do your own surgery, don't do your own taxes. You have no capacity to do that. And you don't know all the depth of the strategies. So you have to have a shared Freedom Day goal. So you want to know where you are and you want to know where you're going. So to give some reality to those numbers, let's just say, let's be a millionaire family. Well, $1 million invested, I'm talking $1 million invested, not you make $1 million, spend 800,000, or you make $1 million, spend whatever version of that. I'm talking you have assets at $1 million invested at 12%. It's going to give you $120,000 a year. If you divide that by 12, you're down to $10,000 a month. So as just an easy kind of number to, keep in mind is for every $1 million, you're pretty much going to get $10,000 a month. So if you want $100,000 a month, you're going to need to be worth $10 million. If you want $5 million, you could get to $50,000, assuming you know how to invest. So you want to have, what's your goal? You want to have where your income goals are. You actually want to have full business plans for those of you that are entrepreneurs. And by the way, totally my opinion, but actually I would say it's also data proves 2 asset classes will make your family the most money. Own a family business, whether it's dog walking, home services, construction, digital marketing, but having your own company is your greatest form of wealth. And then how you invest, whether it's real estate, gas and oil, RV parks, storage units, whatever you want. And again, those are all in the kind of real estate categories. How you invest is vital. But most wealthy people will have in their own business a bunch of real estate. You have to have an aligned investing strategy. So the investing strategy is an agreement on where you're going to put the money. Some people are very online, again, stock market centric. Some are very blockchain, Bitcoin centric, where they're going to have tokens and all sorts of nodes and a whole different kind of portfolio. Some love precious metals. Are you gold, silver? Do you want all that? Do you want to go buy a safe and put it, in a safe, or actually have some access to that? So what do you actually want to invest in? You have some alignment around that. And then I'd say the biggest conversation on a wealth plan is the legacy. So having a trust loaded with life insurance, or not, make a choice in what you're going to do to have that. When are you going to start the transition? When are you going to start your gifting? And really start mapping out a plan. That's what we do here at Integrated Wealth Systems. We have every expert. It's not just me. It's 28 other financial and business experts that are going to help you. So before I continue, I want you here on my channel. So I want you to subscribe, click that notification button. So every morning a video comes into the device that you're going to be listening, and actually listen to it. We always have a journal. That's a YouTube journal. It's always in the show notes available for you. So you can start clicking, when did I watch the video? What do I learn from the video? What do I want to do about it? And everyone in the family, it's just such a great daily conversation to put your conversation around what are you learning and what are you going to do based on my channel. And by the way, we do 20 new videos every month, so you're not hearing and regurgitating a bunch of other stuff. So take advantage of our playlist and learn what you need to learn. I believe that anybody 5 years old and up can actually be listening and starting to get this immersion of content, so they start thinking differently. And believe me, they do think differently. I have a 19 and a 26-year-old, and it's fascinating. Just watch their entrepreneurial thinking, their financial literacy, knowing how to get loans, how to buy vehicles, how to use credit cards. I mean, you got to bring this into your family and do it the way you want for you and your legacy. How to get your whole household aligned? You start having some meetings. Minimum, I would have a monthly money meeting where you're actually talking about these conversations. How are you making your money? How are you spending it? Are you actually using your corporate structure? Do you use credit cards, debit cards? Like, start having these robust conversations. And then as you make the money, what are you going to invest in? What do you want the legacy to be? You know, there's some families who want to build it all for their whole lifetime, and then they want to start spending it. There's people like me, I'm going to spend it throughout my lifetime because while I'm young and healthy and I can go take my kids to Zermatt, I can take them on a safari. We want to, we're going to play and we're going to have some memories out of that. Some people want that. Some people don't want that. So how are you going to activate this financial plan, this wealth plan, this legacy plan for you and your family? So at minimum, set 12-month goals. Monthly, you want to start looking at the milestones. And as your family starts to unfold of who wants to manage the real estate, who's going to manage the actual P&Ls, balance sheet, the tax strategy. So there is a divide and conquer in this that's very, very healthy as long as families stay aligned, the money rules stay aligned, and your rules of engagement stay aligned. If you want any help with this, I'd love to mentor and coach you through it. So call our office at any time with that gap analysis. Start with that. Have a one-on-one session. So if you have any questions at any point, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL. Ask a question, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow.